All right, hello everyone. We will just see what depreciation is. That is Unit 5. What is depreciation and what are the basic terminologies of depreciation that you should be aware of out here? So, starting with what is depreciation? It's the cost of lost usefulness or diminution, that is reduction in service yield from fixed assets. Whenever fixed assets you are buying and it causes some reduction in value of fixed assets is basically called as depreciation. A permanent fall in value of fixed assets arising through. Now, why does this reduction happen? It happens through wear and tear from the use of those assets. As you are using an asset, if you continue using an asset, some or the other, the asset will lose the value, or there will be reduction in value, or it will lose its initially what it was. It won't be the same thing as time passes, right? Like suppose if you have a cupboard in your house, you have installed a new cupboard in your house, a wardrobe or anything like that, maybe with let's say sliding door or anything like that. So what happens, you will keep opening it, closing it, opening it, closing it over the years. Maybe in 2015 you would have installed it, and by the time it's 2020 you can actually see that maybe the hinges of the same thing are coming off, or maybe it's a little loose right now, it is not as tightly packed it was before. Or what else, maybe the handlebar, what you actually use it, the handlebar color has chipped off. So all these things are because of what? Because of wear and tear, because of usage. You have actually used it, you're using it to the maximum, and that is the reason why there is some fall in value of fixed asset. And maybe after that, the entire wardrobe set that you have, you want to sell it to another person, so obviously you will not get the same value. Why? It does not look new anymore. There are a lot of problems that are happening to it. Maybe the color is different, maybe the screws and hinges, everything is coming off, etc. Right? So basically, that is what calculating the reduction in value is called as depreciation. So there is definition of depreciation given to us by ICMA London. ICMA is Institute of Cost and Management Accounts. So that it defines depreciation as the diminution is nothing but reduction in value of asset due to use or lapse of time. As time passes, there is some reduction in assets or reduction in the value of asset. It is not what we had bought it before, and that is called as depreciation. It's a part of cost of fixed asset which has expired due to its usage of time. We have been using it, or obsolescence or accident. So basically, a fall in value of an asset. Now, objectives. Why should we have depreciation? Fine, we have actually said that it is reduction in value of asset. All good and done. Understood. But why should this be there? What is the objective behind it? We can calculate profits. If you are actually calculating your profits, that is your net profit, and if you're not taking reduction in value or depreciation into consideration, whatever net profit that you are getting is not the right one, it is not adjusted properly, with all expenses, right? If you're not taking depreciation into consideration, you're not really taking all the expenses into consideration, and hence your net profit will show a higher amount, which might not be the right thing. Now, to show assets, it is reasonable value. We know that an asset, whatever it was worth 2015, that's like some 6 years back, will not be the same thing as 2021, which is today. So if you're trying to sell it, if you had have bought it for 5 lakhs, without depreciation, what will you think? Okay, I bought it for 5 lakhs. Maybe I will get 5 lakhs if I'm trying to sell it too. But no, might not be, right? You might not be really able to sell it for 5 lakhs now, because nobody will buy it you from 5 lakhs. For 5 lakhs, it'll be like for 5-6 years you have been using it. So there should be some reduction in value. So that reduction in value, maybe right now you can sell it for 3 lakhs or 2.5 lakhs as per the demand of the thing. So this reduction in value is called as depreciation, and so it actually shows the assets at a reasonable value. Now this is reasonable value. If you're talking about 5 lakhs again in the year 2021 for what you have bought for 2015, that is quite unreasonable, whatever you are asking for. Next one, to maintain original monetary investment of the asset. Now, to provide replacement of the asset, in case if you want to replace it with another asset, you will know what is the value it will sell for, and what is the actual cost of the asset, what it was and what it will sell for. Depreciation is permitted to be deducted from profits for tax purposes also. Our Income Tax Act, IT Act, that also allows depreciation, that actually allows written down value of depreciation. What it is, all these things we will study later for tax purposes. Now, causes of depreciation. Why does this happen? Internal costs. As we are using something, suppose machine, plant, building, something, wear and tear, disuse, maintenance, we might not be maintaining it properly, or it requires extra additional maintenance, something, change in production, restriction of production, reduced demand, technical progress, depletion. That is, as we are using the, suppose if it is a machinery that we are talking about, these are the things that it can, a machinery, or else if it is for your household items, think of it as a mixer grinder or think of it as a fridge or something like that. Wear and tear, obviously we are always opening the fridge door up and down, what is there, what is there. We are constantly like opening the fridge door. So what happens to it? After a point of time, after some 10 years or something, you will see that, oh, the light is not working. Why? Obviously, if you keep opening and closing the fridge door for no reason, obviously we are shortening the life of the asset. We are actually asking it to malfunction. Something or the other will happen to the fridge, but that we obviously will not stop from this habit, but it's just one habit, right? Or just an example. So wear and tear, disuse, you're not using it, right? You have gone out of station for 2 years or something, but so what happens again? The value of it obviously will come down. And electronic things, especially if you have started using it and all of a sudden you are not using it for some years, that also causes for the value to come down, and then you will again have to pay maintenance charges for it, etc. Now all this change in production, basically it's our internal causes, whatever happens to it, and external are obsolescence and affliction of time. As time passes, the performance of it and maybe the surroundings, everything will cause to the rate of the asset to reduce. Next one. Often there are like three terms. So far we were checking only depreciation. Now there are other two terms called amortization and depletion as well. Now what are these things? Depreciation, remember, we are talking about fixed assets and we are actually talking about tangible assets. We are actually talking about fixed tangible assets. Then amortization, what we are talking about is again fixed assets, but intangible assets. Intangible assets like goodwill or trademark or patent, all those assets, when we are talking about, we actually speak about amortization. We don't say that goodwill is depreciated. What do we say? The terminology used is goodwill is amortized. The same concept, that is reduction in value, but it is not depreciated, it is amortized. A trademark is amortized, patents are amortized, right? Useful writing off tangible asset over its estimated useful life is called as amortization. So amortization terminology is used for, amortization is again reduction in value of assets, but what assets? Intangible assets. Then comes depletion. What is this? Depreciation I didn't write again because we have been discussing only about depreciation. What is depletion then? Depletion is used for assets like quarry, mine, and all that. So it will be another, if you would have watched KGF, I think the movie that revolves around a gold mine. So basically such mines, quarry, extraction of coal from coal mine is depletion of coal stock. So what happens in this KGF ka example, gold, it is Kola Gold farm, right? So yeah, so out there, like suppose if you are extracting this or another diamond field or whatever, you are actually, what are you doing? You are extracting these things. So as you extract, what happens? This is not natural resources. This will keep depleting. This will not depreciate or amortize. The terminology used out here is depletion. This is mainly for natural resources that we use the term depletion. So all these things basically mean the same, but they are used for certain category. Fixed assets, which are tangible asset, amortization is for intangible, and depletion is more or less for your natural resources, right? Exhaustion of natural resources is called as depletion. Now, factors in measurement of depreciation. What all do we need in order to calculate depreciation? You need historic cost of asset or total cost, that is your whatever you have bought the assets for. And remember, asset cost, when you are buying it, it will include installation cost, etc. All this costs are also along with asset. Estimated useful service life or economic life of asset, that is maybe once you're buying the asset, it'll be like, okay, for 5 years, this asset will stay with me, or maybe for 10 years, or maybe for 15 years, depending on what the asset is. Mostly if you're buying furniture and all for the house, like a bed set or sofa set and all that, we'll say, okay, for another 10-15 years, we don't have to think about this. While when we are talking about maybe cars or etc., bikes or something like that, after 5 years or like 5 to 10 years, we will keep the time of the asset. So along with the kind of the asset, your economic life also changes. So we need actual value of the asset, what we bought it for, and how long it will go. That is time, estimated useful life, and also residual value. If you think like, I bought this car for like 11 lakhs right now, and when I'm selling, maybe I might get like, at that point of time, after 5 years, if I'm selling, I might actually get 5 lakhs or 5.5 lakhs for it. That is called as your residual value or scrap value, you call it. Once you're trying to sell it, will it be worth something? That is your residual value. And legal provisions. What are legal provisions? Many cases, depreciation, there is company law, there is income tax law and all that. So depreciation is actually provided keeping in mind all this as well. There is company law of 2013, and there is also income tax provision that you have to think of when you are actually measuring depreciation. Now, recording depreciation. This is our journal entry part of it. Actually, we are entering accounts part now. How do we record depreciation? How do we record or how do we write journal entry for depreciation? See, depreciation is a charge against an asset. First, you have to understand that depreciation is charged on assets. So the entry will be in depreciation account. The entry is going to be, suppose if this is your depreciation account, the first entry is going to be depreciation to assets. Depreciation to assets, whatever asset value is. Suppose you have bought an asset for 1 lakh and then you are planning to provide 10% depreciation. 10% depreciation, in that case, you will write to asset as 10,000, right? So this is your first journal entry. You're charging it against the asset. Very first journal entry. Then the question comes, how should I balance it? What should I do, right? For this year, I have only this asset. Now, how should I be balancing this asset? What should I be doing? Remember, depreciation is a nominal account. Depreciation is a nominal account. This is your debit side and this is your credit side. And so all nominal accounts are closed. All nominal accounts are closed before preparation of your trial balance and P&L account. So the next entry, this balance, you will not write it as balance brought on or anything. It will actually be transferred to P&L account. P&L account of 10,000. So what will your journal entry be? P&L account to depreciation for closing depreciation account. The depreciation account is transferred to P&L account, right? This we have already done in final accounts. Just letting you know. Now there is something called provision for depreciation. Similar thing we have done for provision for debtors. Right, similar thing is provision for depreciation is maintained. When? This is when provision for depreciation is not maintained. All right, when provision for depreciation is maintained, instead of asset account, we will debit it to depreciation account debtor to provision for depreciation account, and for closing depreciation account, it is P&L to depreciation. Now, all this we will see later on as we are doing problems. You will understand better. And most of the questions will be to make account and not really journal entries, not mostly journal entries. We might have journal entries in few. Now, what is the difference between depreciation and provision for depreciation account? Depreciation account, I just told you right now, it's a nominal account. Now, this is for valuing. It's a valuation account. It has debit balance. Provisions, reserves will always have credit balance. The depreciation is a temporary account. Provision for depreciation is a permanent account. It's a temporary account. Hence, every year we close this nominal account. Every year it is closed and the balance is transferred to P&L. It's a permanent account. Till the time you sell your asset, you will have provision for depreciation account for that particular asset. This account is opened when an asset is shown at its written down value method, opened when asset is shown at the original cost. Okay, now I will talk to you more about that later. This account is charged against asset. This account is not charged against the asset account. So if you see the journal entry, the first journal entry was depreciation to asset, while out here it's not charged against the asset. It is depreciation to provision for depreciation. The next one, this account appears in P&L account but not in balance sheet. This account appears in balance sheet but not P&L account. So if you see, provision for depreciation is not coming in P&L account, while depreciation account, if it is, it will actually come in P&L account. Right. Next one. This will come directly in your balance sheet, that is provision for depreciation account. Then we will just quickly discuss what are the methods of depreciation. For calculating depreciation, actually, this is for calculation of depreciation. In order to find out what is depreciation, these are the n number of methods that we have. We have straight line method or fixed installment method, declining charge method or diminishing or written down value method, sum of the year digit method, inventory or revaluation, annuity, depreciation fund method, machine arm method, depletion method. Though we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 methods, we are going to concentrate only on these two as of now. That is straight line method, SLM and WDV. Straight line method of depreciation and WDV, that is written down value of depreciation, is what we are going to study. The only thing. A straight line. Coming to first one, only two methods of depreciation we will be discussing. The very first one is straight line or fixed installment, or it's also called as original cost, or it's also called as fixed percentage method. These are all different names of the same thing. Like if they are asking you to find out depreciation as per original cost, or as per fixed installment, or as per fixed percentage, or as per straight line method, you will do the same calculation. So what does this say? Under this method, the same amount of depreciation is charged every year throughout the life of the asset. Throughout the life of the asset, it's the same depreciation. What is the formula for it? How do we find the amount of depreciation? Amount of depreciation is equal to cost of asset, whatever you have bought it for, minus estimated realizable or scrap value divided by number of years of expected useful life. And rate of depreciation is going to be amount of depreciation divided by total cost of asset into 100. How it is done, you will understand it better with the help of an example. We will do it in class. So this is your rate of depreciation and amount of depreciation formula. Coming to the next one, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the same? Advantages of straight line method are, it's very simple to calculate, it's easy to understand and even to apply. It is uniform charge. You're not confused about first year what, second year what, any year it is. If you're keeping asset for 10 years, suppose your asset value is 10 lakh and they are asking you to provide depreciation at 10%. So we know we just have to provide it for 1 lakh. Every year, just deduct 1 lakh from the value. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. It's calculated on original cost over the lifetime. Now, disadvantages are, it's not related to usage factor. Suppose 1 year you're using more, another year you're using less or something like that, but that doesn't matter to us. Or maybe you're not using it at all. And so the depreciation provided is only 1 lakh. It ignores the fact that later years of life of asset, efficiency of the asset declines. How much ever, suppose again taking our car into example, as soon as we get the car, performance of the car is going to be splendid, and as time passes, what happens, though you keep maintaining it, maybe it's not as good as 10 years back. So that is something that straight line method does not take into consideration at all. Next one is loss of interest on investment in asset is not accounted for. Now, diminishing value, this is our second valuation method, that is diminishing value method. Under this method, depreciation is charged at fixed rate on reducing balance every year. Rate of depreciation is applied to book value and not the cost of asset. Now, the formula of that is R is 1 minus N root S by C into 100. And N is useful life of the asset, S is residual value, C is cost of asset, and into 100. Basically, if you see out here, And here we are almost using the same way for rate of method, because there also you have cost of asset. Here also we have residual value, useful life of asset, everything is taken into consideration. But this is much more scientific rather than SLM method. This method is preferred even for income tax, if you see, or even many of the companies, international companies for company law and all that. Diminishing value of method is what is actually practiced, and not straight line value of method. I'm not saying it's not there at all, it is there, but this is what is practiced by many. DVM, that is advantages and disadvantages, is it's a simple method of providing depreciation, as a fixed rate is applicable on book value or written down value of asset. This method is quite popular, provides uniform charge for services of asset throughout the life. Now, what are the disadvantages? Slightly complicated with all the root and all that. We might get a little scared in the beginning, but it's going to be very easy. So it's a slightly complicated compared to SLM, guys. This is compared to SLM, it is a little complicated. If the asset has no residual value, it's very difficult to calculate the rate. If asset has no residual value, suppose this is 0, then how do we calculate the rate? What is the root? How? And all that. It's a little confusing. So that is about it. Right, so that's about it. The rest of how to do the problems, etc., we will be discussing in class. Thank you so much.